Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast. And I hear an echo.
Yeah, I hear it too.
How's this possible?
I don't know.
What's up, Shorts Guy?
Oh.
What's going on?
Let's try this again. Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season 4, episode 14, titled Devils Win 3 out of the last 4 games. Streaming live on Facebook Live, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. I get this echo, guys. Here, let me figure this out. You guys take over.
You do your thing, man. You do your thing. Don't wallow in disappointment. We just won. Be happy.
Right? It's a feling we didn't have this time last week.
Yeah, just the echo just means we can hear it twice how happy we are. That's all.
Oh.
Well,
by the way, want to extend a happy, a little belated, even though we said it during the week, but happy belated birthday to Scotty, officially on the podcast. It was his birthday this week on Thursday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
32?
You're welcome.
31?
Yeah, 30, 30, 31, 32.
Remember those days?
I don't know.
You remember those
Oh,
days?
my God. Yeah, at least we got a victory that day, so that was nice. And we got a victory today.
Oh, my gosh.
A really nice victory in OT. Me and Sam were talking about it earlier. And I was saying, it's just nice to see them actually playing good hockey. Even if they lost today, I wouldn't have been so upset because they played really, really well. And I know we're not talking moral victories, but it's just the actual system. You know, before it was they were playing bad and it was hard to watch. Even if they didn't win today, it was a fun game to watch. They played hard all around. And you're starting to see the stuff come together. But, you know, look better than what it was. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we kind of have been saying from the beginning where you want to see improvement over anything else. You want to see improvement over results. Well, results are nice, but improvement, because improvement means that we're going in the right direction. And then, I heard somebody say, I think it was Bryce might have entered into the conversation during the game, and he was saying that Lindy Ruff wants the young kids to shoot more. Stop being nice and passing off the puck. Be a little selfish, be a little bit, me first, and start shooting the puck more. And you're starting to see that. You're starting to see that a little bit more. And Sharon Govich, man, he has hit the pipe. Yeah, that kid, I feel like, is a step away from really breaking out full time. But I mean, everybody's been.
And when you say that, you don't mean the crack pipe, right? That's
no.
Just okay, so weird. Sharon Govich has been hitting the pipe, man.
Govich is he's hitting the pipe,
man. He's been hitting that pipe. I don't know. Oh,
just living in a box of newspapers. No, he's been. Obviously that. A little Dave Chappelle reference for you. No, the young kid's been playing really well. Jack has been playing really well. I mean, this team has been showing promise, and Nico right around the corner. So there's lots to unfold in the next couple of weeks, but trade values are starting to go up. And I hate to say that, but it's the unfortunate truth.
No, it's true.
Got some teams coming up this week, too, that are going to be looking for some Washington, Boston,
Florida.
We know both those teams.
Florida a winger.
Well, Florida's not in our division, but at least we get we get a showcase going on there for some of these teams because, the Islander, I mean, well, tough trading in division, but we know because we know Boston and Washington, technically they are in division this year, but next year, next season we'll be back to regular alignment.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
It's nice that they're not regular, that we'll see them normally.
But actually, I did want to ask you guys that because we are, we were talking about it before because we're from New Jersey. We're halfway there. Bon Jovi. We're living on a prayer here. We're halfway through the season. All right. 28 games left, which is really in real life, maybe a quarter of the season. But this is our halfway point,
That's crazy.
So I thought maybe we might look over the team, give a little review. Who would we can play, since I know Shorts Guy loves his punk rock, we can play Clash style. Should I stay or should I go?
I like it.
These guys on this team, because we're going to be, and not just, in general, I can say in general what I've always said. Yeah. Anyone not named Nico, Ty, or Jack, I don't care. Yeah, if we get a great, phenomenal deal, much like Blake Coleman did, the Blake Coleman deal we got, yeah, okay, take it. But not just, for anything.
Wayne Gretzky was traded in his prime. Don't forget that. Wayne Gretzky was traded in his prime. I know that's one of the stupidest moves of all time, and there's a lot to that. But I'm just saying, I hate to say it, but nobody is technically untouchable.
Exactly.
That's correct.
Well, except for Jack, Nico, and Ty. That's it.
You would think.
We'll play the game a little.
You would think.
Yeah.
We'll play the game a little later. Who do you really think is part of our core? Because I say, and again, we're halfway there. I think we're about halfway there with our true core, and we're going to find out. But before we get there, I wanted to ask you guys this because I know I've said it a lot in the post game. If you saw any of the last two games, you probably saw our man Nick Merkley on the ice, and just how much, speaking of Blake Coleman, does he remind you of a Blake Coleman type of player? And I feel it's just a little piece of the puzzle that we have been missing since that trade. He just gets into the crease. He gets into those dirty areas. You see the defenseman always trying to he's on the play. May not score, but you hear his name. You see him around the puck. He got 5 shots in his first game back. He was making plays today, getting into scrums. Just feel like we were missing that type of player, that quote unquote type of player. And if you guys saw any of these two games, I was just wondering, what your reaction to that is.
I had to listen to today's on the radio, and I didn't get the luxury of being able to see him on the ice, but I didn't key in on his name coming up as I was driving and listening to it. But the way you're describing it, it almost sounds like he can take that place of Miles Wood, who is potentially a trading chip. because I was looking at Miles Wood as almost like that Blake Coleman type of individual that would do that, go to the dirty corners, go to the front, piss off the defenseman, rush the goalie if need be. Blake Coleman, I think, had a little bit more finesse than Miles Wood. Miles Wood is like a bull in a china shop sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Merkley also size-wise is a little more comparable to Blake. Like, Miles is a big boy, and he's got a wicked shot and a lot of speed. Merkley and Coleman are all hustle, you just see him out there hustling.
But that could be then, but that could be positive if they're looking to move a hot player. Like Miles Wood is, you can consider him that hot spark plug player that we have. That could be that missing piece for a team like Blake Coleman was for Tampa Bay last year. So that could make it easier. That could make that a lot easier to say, well, listen, if we ship off Wood, we've got his replacement, and we'll be okay. Because the last thing you want to do is ship off someone that's, giving the team its heart, which you can say that Miles Wood is doing to an extent with the way he is and the way he's more than willing to muck it up in the corners and in the slot. So
I think they're a little different type of player, though. I don't know if I want to see Merkley dropping the gloves with a lot of dudes or anything like that. Like I don't know. But I just felt like there was more of a spark with him.
Was it Zacha that they were trying to get to not do that too a couple years ago? I thought that there was someone that it just came to my mind right now that there was maybe was it Miles Wood that they were trying to I don't know. Someone I remember they were like trying to be like, hey, you probably should stick to the skills instead of the fighting. I thought maybe it was Pavel Zacha. I don't know. It came to my mind randomly. I'll have to see if I can dig back into the rabbit hole that is my mind and try to
Clarkson that, but he didn't listen.
David Clarkson should have listened to a lot of other stuff too, but he didn't.
Yeah. Like stay in New Jersey. But anyways.
How about this from our boy Kevin Stackpool on Facebook? Hello to everyone on Facebook Live and YouTube Live.
Yeah.
Sharon Govich and Jack will be Elias and Sikora. Whew. Wow.
Ooh.
We're putting some
comparables. Putting some sauce on the name.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. Listening to the radio broadcast, Chico used.
He loves him. He loves
him, but he also had Elias and Jack in the same sentence today. At one point during the telecast. So yeah, you know what? Chico's very high on him. Chico thinks he's got a little bit of just a little bit of refining to do, but that'll be just fine. There's also another thing I wanted to bring up that Chico said on the broadcast today, that someone else's stock is potentially rising and becoming more tradable, if you will. And his name is Mikey McLeod.
It's true. We've seen this train's been coming down the track the whole year. I mean, it's undeniable that other teams are going to want a top-end talent like Mikey McLeod. And if they come knocking, we'll take a couple, number ones, maybe your best prospect out of your pool, whatever it's going to take. You're going to have to pry him out of our dead cold hands, but Mikey McLeod. No, in all seriousness, yeah. Everybody outside of
I only bring that up here, Baron, because I just know it'll get a reaction out of you. That's the only reason I bring it up.
But I almost feel like Zajac is more likely to go, and McLeod is going to be the benefactor and jump in between Kuokkanen and Sharon Govich, actually.
I would love to see that because listen, nothing against Travis Zajac, and I think he's been doing great with those two.
No, he's our second best commodity after Palms.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's to infuse a little bit more youth into that line and to keep it very, very youthful. Putting McLeod in the middle of those two wouldn't be a bad idea. And once Nico comes back, reuniting that Nico, Bratt, and Zacha line is going to be fantastic because in that overtime goal tonight, the chemistry that Zacha and Bratt have is undeniable. You talk about who is the core of this team, and you were talking about that, a little bit earlier. In my opinion, besides the three that you say are untouchable with Nico and Jack and Ty, I really feel like there is a good nucleus there. You have Sharangovich and Kuokkanen are really starting to come together. Then you have Bratt and Zacha that are can basically pass to each other with their eyes closed, which is great. So there is a good core that's building in there. I feel like you start pulling out some of the, if Palmieri wants to stay, because I know there's talks that he is restructuring his contract right now, or at least Fitzy's kind of like talking to him about it. Like, hey, do you want to stay? Like you said, do you want to stay or do you want to go? So he's asking him, do you want to restructure your contract or you want to get traded? The market is going to start heating up because teams are going to start wanting to. I don't think it's going to get to the deadline for a lot of these trades. I think they're going to happen a little bit sooner than we think. So don't be surprised if you see.
Gotta.
You look at what happened to the Islanders. Look at the injuries that the Islanders have suffered.
Yeah.
You don't think that they would love to have a Travis Zajac or a Kyle Palmieri?
Oh, they would.
I know
now
that
Anders Lee is down,
totally.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They would love to have Travis Zajac to have that depth.
You start looking at
some of
the people that are.
I was just gonna say, like Palmieri, he's had such a down season. The stock is really not that high. It probably would be best for him on his own personal level if he did take a trade to a team that's in the playoffs and get a nice flashy run, try to score some goals in the playoffs and get hot and try to play that off into a new contract instead of what's he got, 6 goals on the year so far. You inject
him into the lineup of the Islanders and that dude's going to take off. He fits the mold of that team perfectly. If you look at the
all right, you say the Islanders. I say Travis to the Islanders. I say Palmieri to the Bruins.
To the Bruins. Either way, I mean, Palms has got the grit that he'd fit in with the Bruins.
He would be on their third line. Their third line.
Yeah. They could fit anywhere at this point. But you look at so I said it earlier, Florida, they're looking for forwards. There's other teams, the Canadian division. Toronto has been, Dubois already came out and basically said hey, we're open to making some trades. We want to keep this engine going. He wants to grab whatever he can grab and throw it into the fire to keep that engine steaming down the tracks, because right now what people don't realize in the United States is that Canadian division has become a juggernaut of just
I watch a lot of the games out here on the West Coast, like the Calgary, the Edmonton, Vancouver. Oh man, it's
much fun to watch.
Yeah, it really is.
Fun. And then they're already starting to talk about making it like an every year thing where they're having just a whole month of just straight up Canadian hockey.
Yeah,
it's the rivalries are pretty. They're getting more intense, especially now that it's getting changed with some fans and
Arms race.
It's been fun.
Arms race.
Oh, there he is. Look who's
Sammy's back.
I still hear the echo.
Sam Wu.
Is it you? Because we didn't hear it without you.
It's Sam Wu. What you gonna do when Sam Wu runs wild on you?
So did you need to go to the bathroom? Shorts.
No, I just gotta step away real quick, Sammy.
All right.
Hold
on one second.
Thanks for telling everybody about that.
What if he does? Yeah. What if the poor guy's got a stomach issue and you gotta what are you going to go to the bathroom or something?
It's like that scene in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation where the daughter asked if the grandparents cannot answer the phone.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude.
Oh, that echo's gone. The echo's gone now.
Oh, that's weird. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. What the trade deadline's? What? 3, 4
April 12th.
3 weeks? April 12th. So 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
So
Jerry Myvoski, bring Coleman back next year. He'll be a UFA. That's right. I almost forgot about that.
Bring who back? Who did you say? Colin Powell?
Yeah, Coleman.
Powell.
Pickles. Blake Coleman.
Colin. I thought you said Colin. Bring Colin back. He's a good guy. He'd go on a beer run for
Bring
you.
Colin Quinn back. He'll do his thing.
Yeah.
He'll be complaining and, get everybody depressed. But we'll laugh. It'll be a good time.
But we'll laugh. We'll laugh at his sadness. He also had one of the greatest shows ever on TV. Oh my God, yeah. I did that.
The round table show that he had?
Yeah. When I worked at oh God, come on. I was watching this whole thing about Patrice O'Neal. We're really going off track right now.
Yeah, all right. We'll stop. We'll talk about it later. But whatever that show name was, it was hysterical. Them just like discussing news events of the day and everything. Yeah, it was hysterical.
With Patrice O'Neal, who was like the funniest man ever. And Greg Giraldo. Yeah. And I used to work. Oh, anyways. When I worked at the Stress Factory and became like cool with all those guys, and I'm like, these guys are the coolest.
When Greg you were Giraldo, a comedian,
the smartest human. No,
yeah, that's when I was the guy. That's when he was a comedian.
If you ever went there, that's when he was a comedian. There, I was the guy. I worked the door, and I was also the guy that if you pissed me off, I was the guy that controlled the camera, and I'd zoom in on you, and it'd be like, just had massive diarrhea in the bathroom. That stupid stuff.
Speaking of that,
anyways,
are you lying to us? Were you just a creepy guy in the bathroom handing out the paper towels?
No. I was the unfortunate bastard that, like, at the front of the like, I'd bring you to your seat, and then I'd be like, "All right, everybody, are you ready?"
He'd always look confused.
Coming to the main stage.
Confused, like constantly looking around, like he's not sure where everyone's supposed to go, but he's supposed to bring people somewhere.
That's pretty accurate, because that place was like a madhouse. Because the second show would hit, like the first show was easy. The first show, like, people would trickle in. The second show, everybody was already lined up and they're waiting to get in. And if we had a headliner, like, oh my God, anyways, all right, listen, we're going way off track. Like, we can talk about the Stress Factory for days. I have some great experiences with that place. But anyways,
oh man,
highly recommended. One of the best comedy clubs that you'll ever go to in the East Coast, 100%. Anyways, and I didn't get paid to do that.
Yeah, well, we should.
But yeah, we should have like little things like, hey, this beer is brought to you by. So one of the things that I was going to ask you guys about, I was thinking about it today. I was listening to the game, and we started getting into that conversation last week and in the last couple of weeks of, what's going to happen at the end of the season. You could only assume that they're going to start trading off all of these pieces, but what if they don't? What if they start staying put? They don't move Zajac.
Bad.
They don't move. They don't move anything.
No, that's bad. Bad.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. So my question to you is, as I was listening to the game, and I was like,
no, nothing happens. Nothing happens. No.
Yeah, but if they
something happens, George. No, nothing happens.
Well, they win today, and they won 3 out of the last 4. If they continue on this, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs. Listen, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs. But if they start putting it together and they start winning more games and they're getting over 500, are you still in the market to sell? Okay.
Yes.
Do you still want them to sell? That's the question.
Sell. If you can get stuff for Kyle Palmieri, if he wants to go, honestly, God, like I said before, I think it's in his right. It's probably the best thing for him to go and like get on a hot run and try to sell that as, what's going on this season. Obviously, all the Devils have had a tough season with everything that's happened. But if he gets on a playoff team and he scores some big goals in the playoffs, could he then like charge a little bit more money for that contract that he's working on right now? He's turning 30 years old. Don't forget about that. Yeah. We probably, Kyle's, he's got a couple, like 2, 3 probably really good years left. And then, you never know. Like, bodies just start getting older. Guys in hockey can play a lot longer. But, we probably have some of his best years, already on the team. They're gonna have to think about it. But he can charge a lot more for his services if he goes up to Boston or to Washington or somewhere else and they go into the playoffs and he scores some big goals.
Well,
same thing with Travis.
Rody Ryan,
come on, buddy.
Mr. Ryan over here on the old YouTube Live. So comment on YouTube Live. I'm going to shoot this one over to Shorts Guy. I'm going to see what you think about this. What's the future of Boquist? So what do you think the future of Mr. Boquist is?
Well,
package.
What's he, Scotty?
Send him to Chicago to be with his brother.
Part of a package.
So, I mean, it. At this point, if you can package him with a Kyle Palmieri or with a Travis Zajac, that's not really a terrible idea. My only hope, though, if we're going to move any of them, Boquist included in this, that we're going to get what's going to be for the best of the team. That's my hope.
Expansion draft.
Yeah, but you know what though? Yeah, but you know what though? We can also use that if we want to move on from PK Subban, we can use the expansion draft for him. But we do have to.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone picks up PK. Honestly, if we eat some of that contract next year, he's been playing well enough to No,
he has. He has.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
See, now that wouldn't be surprising to me either because he's playing very well. It really wouldn't even surprise me if if we were able to move him at the deadline for his entire contract with him playing the way he is right now, because he's looking like a man on a mission to get something at the deadline. Because he's not getting any younger either. We gotta remember that. My hope for talking about any of these moves right now, here's my hope is just that if they make these moves, that it's for the betterment of the team, and we're not going to let these guys just walk. But what I do like, and that's kind of what
exactly.
I was, what I was looking at though prior to that was what's nice about the Zajac and the Palmieri thing is let's say we move them. Let's say that we move them. They're UFAs next year. They could potentially come back if they wanted to. Which I like having that open door to where we can go get some assets for them right now. Let's say we let Travis go win his cup, and then he wants to come back to New Jersey and finish out a career here. That would be great. Let's say Kyle Palmieri, do the same thing, go somewhere, potentially win a cup, and then re-sign next year. Because I still think, and I've thought this all along, that Kyle Palmieri, as that veteran presence, would be a key cog into this youthful core that we have. Because you need someone to be that. You need someone to be that presence. If we can ship him off for a couple real good pieces, and then he comes back, great. But I think that would really help having him going forward, and having him with these younger guys to help, lead them in the right direction in a sense. Him and Nico become the leading force of the team, the leaders of the team, and this team goes, from here to the playoffs and, potentially a cup. So I still think that that's what I would love to see. I'm not in charge. I'm glad I'm not making these decisions. But yeah, so I know I didn't really answer anything in the original question, but if Boquist is available to move, that's great. But with the way this season's going, who knows? I feel like I just spoke myself into a circle and a half, but
no,
not at
all.
No, it's like because Boquist has been, because I saw him featured on the Binghamton Devils Instagram as with that cheesy Devils pitchfork as the player of the game or whatever.
Yeah. We'll get into that conversation too in a little bit.
I was scrolling through a couple days ago and I'm like, what the all right, whatever. And wearing a Devils hoodie, no less. Like, he doesn't even have a Binghamton, probably because he doesn't like the logo, Beer Baron.
Yeah, darn right.
But anyway, no, but it's like, if Boquist is able to to come back up and make an impact, whatever. I'll right now I'm willing to take anything good. The last four have been great, but I want to see consistently good. But Boquist still can have a place in this roster, but he can also be a good like Scotty coughed earlier. He could still be a good package piece, which we may see some package deals. It's just a matter of what we're going to get in return. Whatever we trade, I just want to make sure I believe Fitz has that mindset. He's going to get everything best for the team. I just don't want to be the team to get fleeced in these trades, knowing that we're the sellers in this current situation.
Yeah, but I feel like there's teams that are going to be a lot more desperate than they are looking to fleece anybody. Like when you're looking to fleece somebody, you're normally the selling team that's doing the fleecing, because the people that are trying to buy, well, I mean, Taylor Hall for Adam Larson. That's
yeah, but in the long run, at the time that looked like a fleecing, but in the long run, it was the Taylor Hall experiment. Just I felt like was a disaster. But we also have we have so much youth that isn't battle tested yet that it's one of those things where it's like if you trade a small piece and all of a sudden a couple years down the line they become huge. It's like, well, why the hell did we get rid of them? I would hate to see that happen too.
Yeah,
Question
and our
for
friend on.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say our friend on YouTube Live here says Clark doing pretty dang well in Binghamton. Well, and Clark's shot, my friends, woo-hoo-hoo, that kid has got some loads of potential. So there's a lot of good things happening in Binghamton. I don't know if Boquist is if he's developed enough to like take that step up into the NHL, or if you're both saying put him into a package. Because look, if you're trying to move somebody like Gusev, you're probably going to have to package him with somebody like Boquist. So I mean,
Gusev's going to be put on waivers, and someone's probably going to try and take a stab at him. I bet you.
At this point, 100%. At this point, 100%.
Yeah. Well, question for you, because we were talking about Paul Mary. Now, he's UFA.
Mm-hmm.
How long of a contract do you think he's going to be looking for? 3 years?
3 to 5.
3 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you think he's going to be
if
looking for, or
with us? With us. If he's looking for, you look at his age. If he's going to another team, I think it'll be a little bit longer. But for the Devils, if he extends, look for that extension to be like a 3-year window, because he'll get out at 33. If it doesn't pan out, it won't put the team into a bind where there won't be able to move him. If he's in a longer contract, it makes it a hell of a lot harder to move somebody. So maybe if he makes an extension, it's like, all right, you know what? I'll give it another 3 years. We'll see how this goes. You guys took a chance on me, blah, 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 blah. It makes a lot of sense if you really think about that. Does he want a longer deal? Yeah. But maybe
exactly.
What he does is he does like the extension to extension. Like you work into this 3-year deal, and then you push further beyond. You're laughing, but it's the truth. He doesn't know what this team's going to be like in 2 years, 3 years, right? What do you? I know, I don't understand what's so funny about it.
Wouldn't you think if you were that person though, if you were Kyle Palmieri, wouldn't you say I'm going to go probably test free agency and see if there's a team that would give me like a 5 or 6 year contract?
That's what I was saying. I said if he goes somewhere else, it will be a longer contract. But if he looks to sign an extension here, I wouldn't be shocked if that extension is only a short amount of time, like a 3-year window. It makes a lot of sense if you think about his movability and being able to.
But but if he's a UFA now, this is he's in the middle. Of
this is last chance. This is
last chance at a big monster payout. As a team, are we going to do that? I'm just looking at his stats, and listen, I love Kyle, and I'm not trying to bash him or anything like that. But this is how we should be talking about it. Should I stay or should I go? What we were talking about earlier. This is what it means. Should I stay or should I go? Kyle Palmieri, if you want to resign this guy, what are you going to pay him? He's never crossed the 60-point barrier. 30 goals one time. That's it.
Yeah, but look at the team that he's doing 30 goals on.
Listen, I'm just saying.
If he was on a team where he had somebody like Connor
But
McDavid or Draisaitl,
he's playing first-line minutes with Taylor Hall, Nico Hischier. Okay, so it's not like he's been buried in the roster or anything like that. He's been playing top-line minutes, where he wanted to play. And listen, but I'm just saying, this is what we got to look at. Are you gonna? Do you think there's better years ahead of him, or, go ahead.
See,
Short Scott, I know you were about to say something.
Yeah, no, yeah. So kind of thinking about it and trying to figure out, what he could potentially go for. You're right. He only had one 30-goal season, but he was pretty consistent in the mid to high 20s for, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4? I can't.
26, 24, 27, 25.
Yeah.
And then
so
5.
He had that until this year. He had that consistency. Yeah. So is he going to would he potentially get a massive contract like 30 plus? No. But if he's going to be chipping in, mid-20s in goals, he's going to be worth it for a team that's going to need that secondary scoring. He's not going to be your first line scorer. He's going to be your secondary scorer.
Well, that's the thing. He's doing all this at a first line pace, Now, when you go back to his Anaheim days, when he was, down a little bit lower, 71 games, 57 games in 2013, 24. I mean, he's younger too. He's still getting more developed, but only, 14 goals. Came to the Devils because he wanted that shot at that top line, and boom, that was the 30-goal season. He came and he proved it, he did. But he has always been playing with Nico, Taylor Hall, first line minutes. He's not going to be, once this contract starts going through, if we give him like a 5-year deal or something like that, he's not. Is he gonna?
No, because he's on the wrong side of 30. I don't disagree. He's on the wrong side of 30. You give him a 5 or 6 year deal, it's got to be structured to where, there may be more performance bonuses towards the end than in the beginning, because you're going to want him to have that incentive to, as the years go on, and he gets. It's weird. We're talking about guys being younger than us, but being old in NHL terms, which is
I know.
Which is really
it's
scary.
Like birth 1991, and I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but at 38, I'm still producing some pretty damn nice saves in my league. But then again, I'm not in the NHL. But I am e-bug ready and prepared. But I could also. You know what I could also potentially see, and I'm probably wrong. However, hey, you never know. Maybe him getting a 1-year deal to because this is obviously an off season. Yeah, so this is obviously an off season, but I'm gonna say though that okay. So with the exception of some of the players who get to shoot and play against teams like Ottawa. Every other day having like ridiculous goal and assist totals because they're shooting against high glove Matt Murray. Some of these goal stats are going to be super inflated because some of these other teams are just playing crap constantly. Whereas, we're in a really tough division and Paul Mary's having an off season, agreed, but he's also in the arguably the hardest division in the league. So
it's this season too. It's so hard to judge guys on this season.
It's such an odd season, which is why I can see if he doesn't get a long term, I can actually see a lot of 1-year tryout, in a sense, contracts next year to see if these players can prove it over the course of a regular, 80 plus game season versus I'm sure there are GMs that'll fork over the cash for players just because some are more than willing to spend a reckless abandon no matter what. But I just think that next year, the possibilities there for more conservative 1 year. All right, let's see what you can prove. Last year was weird. This year's regular, back to it. Let's see what you can do in a regular full out season where you get the proper rest, the proper practice, the proper days off, the proper recovery
training
time,
camp,
all of that stuff.
Yeah,
a proper training camp. Yeah, like a proper schedule.
This season,
not like six games in 8 days.
Which could also lead it. Which could also lead to him potentially staying with us and then signing that 1-year deal with us to see what he can do next year with our team fully here, which our team this year, aside from the fact that we haven't had a full roster for more than 3 games, we got bit by the COVID bug, and I want to say that set everyone back just more than we probably know. So as far as as far as Palmieri's concerned, if he stays, I can see maybe if he doesn't extend, which the possibility is there, which they were talking about, I could possibly see a 1 year. Hey, let's see how this works out at the end, and then maybe have him for trade bait for next year. He could potentially be trade bait this year, but then still be in the same situation where, if he doesn't prove it in the playoff run somewhere, it's going to be another 1 year deal somewhere.
Yeah,
I just want
the key to him being. So that could be the key to him being moved, is so that he can prove this for that contract for next year. Like you were, basically like you were saying, Scotty, especially knowing that this is such a crap season.
And I just want to real quick, just for everyone on Facebook Live, Ray Leo saying at least 3, probably closer to 5 million per. That's probably what he's going to be looking for. Mike Rossi says 4 at 5.5 is what he's going to be looking for. Benny says we better get a first rounder for Palms or PK. I don't know, but maybe I don't know, maybe a late first rounder. Someone could be convinced. I don't know.
Yeah, if we're getting a first
rounder, Jerry Mioviski, there we go, something like that. I'm sure I'm slaughtering it. 3 years, no more, trade him. Michael Hay is agreeing with you, Shorts Guy, 1 year incentive type of deal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I was also thinking that 3 year deal for him right now makes sense. It makes more sense for the team knowing that at 33 he's good to go. Still relatively young, but still can get it. But then again, the incentives, those incentive contracts, if you are going to give him the longer term, be like, all right, listen, here's 3 years, money's here, but when you get to to year 4, year 5, in year 34 and 35, what have you, you got to produce still. You can't just say retirement's coming. Not to say that he would, because he doesn't strike me as the type of player that would. He strikes me as the type of player that they're going to have to pry the skates off of his feet and be like, you're broken and done. That's just the type of player he looks like.
I feel like the game's just getting faster and faster, though, and it's just getting.
Yeah, but it is.
It's tough.
It's not just that, but
we saw Zach Parise get scratched this year. Look at that contract. Yeah. Oof.
But I mean, you also have to keep you have to also keep in mind, look at all the talented wingers that we have coming up through the system. Mm-hmm. Dawson Mercer, who just posted another hat trick, who's been ripping it up.
Oh my gosh.
Alexander
Holtz, he's been having an off year this year, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's not what he's." But come on, give it. He'll be fine. You have Tice Thompson, who is ripping it up in Providence. Who unfortunately, Providence didn't make the NCAA tournament, so he might be coming to bingo soon. I guess that depends. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Don't say.
So there's a lot of, and then you have Nolan Foote. You have a lot of, you have Boquist. You have all these wingers that we want to give, or these forwards that we want to give an opportunity to. So, I agree with what Shorts Guy, what he was saying before, is you need that veteran in the lineup. You need that veteran to kind of keep everybody in line. But do you anymore? Is the NHL now starting to kind of change where you don't need that gritty veteran to be the coach's assistant to be like, hey, come on, keep it in line. I agree with what you're saying. You want somebody to guide them. Yeah, but you do have guys that have been in the league for over 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. By the time next year rolls around, Nico Hischier will be a 4-year veteran. He's starting to get into the territory
Miles
of being
Wood
in
as
the
well.
league for a while. Miles Wood, a lot of these guys. But if you look at the pieces that they could potentially trade, and you look at how they're going to fill those holes in, I think that what they should concentrate on is, look, you could move Kulikov and get a good price for him, in my opinion.
Do it.
I think he's proved himself. He might not be putting up huge points, but he's been pretty damn solid on a nightly basis. I don't think they're going to move PK just because that contract is way too. If PK was on a $5 million a year deal, 100% he would be moved, and 100% you can get a haul for him, just because of what he's doing right now. You have pieces that you can't really move. You have pieces that you can move. Who knows what's going to happen to Murray because he's a UFA at the end of the year. You have a lot of kids. This year could be that tryout year that we've talked about before. Riley Walsh, Kevin Ball, Nolan Foote. You have these kids, or come on, my brain is skipping a beat now. Who did we just sign to an entry-level contract? Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, hang on. I'll look it up real quick. Go ahead. You continue.
Thank you. Because my brain is just not working. But is it not working, or am I afraid to pronounce a name wrong?
No, you got.
But anyways,
you're good. Hang on.
But you have a lot of potential. You have a lot of young potential that could take that step. Listen, you got to find out what you have. You can't just sit there and stock the cupboards and stock the cupboards and stock the cupboards and then just be like, look at all this shiny stuff that we got. And when somebody goes, well, why don't you take it out and use it? And they're like, it will get ruined if I do that. You got to have the balls to actually be like, all right, we have to take a Nolan Foote and put him out there and see what he can do in the NHL level against NHL, talent. You got to see what Graham Clark. That kid's been. Graham Clark's got a hell of a shot. I feel like that kid could fit in. Like
I see why you forgot his last name.
Yeah, now you see, because I can't pronounce it.
Michael, I'm going to go for it. Vukojevic? Vukojevic?
Let's see. Hold on.
Michael.
I think Jersey Joe is trying to send me. Jersey Joe is trying to send me a pronunciation. Jersey Joe, just type it out phonetically.
Jersey
Joe always helps you. Jersey Joe's always
he's my man. That's my boy.
Oh yeah, we got him. Got Graham Clark. Got Nolan Foote, Holtz, Dawson Mercer. Let's talk about it. Should he stay or should he go?
All right, let's do it.
I'm on the opinion for Kyle Palmieri. Love you. Yeah, exactly. Warrior. But I think he should go. And I think it's the best for him too.
Listen. Yeah, and if we were closer to a cup, I'd be like, no way, don't get rid of him. He's a gritty player, blah blah blah. We're nowhere near it. He deserves better. Go and win your cup somewhere else. I hate to say that because I love Palmieri. The whole Jersey born kid. Even though he wasn't really born in New Jersey, but he said Vukojevic. Okay.
That's close. Same difference.
Vukojevic.
All right, so then we'll go to the other obvious one real quick. Well, yeah, we got to get Kevin back on. We'll go to the other one then, real obvious, real quick. Travis Zajac. I'm in the camp of
let him go.
Yeah, go right across to the Islanders. Call Blue. Yeah, call Blue. Go over to the Islanders. They need the depth.
So,
I'm all about it. You can stay close to home.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll do it for Travis.
That you were like,
he's a UFA.
Pal. Yeah.
He may end up staying there just like Andy Green. Andy stayed there. He's got a 2-year deal?
Yeah.
Good. Both of them.
Yeah.
Go both of them. Okay. So here's an interesting one that earlier I pegged also as a expansion draft. Andres Janssen. And we have him for another 3 years. Don't forget.
How do you like the Pacific Northwest? It's rainy. It's bad. And go play for the Kraken.
Okay. That's what I.
That's the forward that we'll probably expose to the Seattle Kraken.
Mm-hmm. So you're into the he should go.
Vukojevic.
Yeah,
Vukojevic.
We're under that.
Sorry, Jersey Joe's helping me with my enunciation.
We are all over the place today. I wouldn't mind him staying. He's a new player to the team. It's an odd season. There's something there. I mean, he's right. He's right in that. He's right in the heart of that age range where you really hit your stride. They must see something in him to give him that type of a 3-year deal and not a 1 year. Hey, let's see how this goes. I don't mind him staying, giving him another shot, another go around. But then again,
on a fair season,
like you mentioned, on a regular season, it's for me personally. I think it's going to be tough to make a real valid call on some of these guys because it's just the season is so weird. If it was a normal, if this was like a normal getting to the end of March, obviously the trade deadline would have just hit, and we could make a real good thing. But I think for him, keep him around, see what he can do in a regular season.
All right, I'll give you 2 hard ones then. All right, because they're right on the borderline. Pavel Zacha, Miles Wood. Should they stay or should they go? And I mean this. I mean this.
Pavel Zacha
even if you're getting a blown, say you're even getting like a blown away like Blake Coleman like deal. Okay, say that's what's on the table here. That's the situation here. You got someone's calling for Pavel Zacha and they're giving you like a first rounder and a big prospect. Should he stay or should he go? What do you feel is more important to the team?
I feel like Pavel Zacha should stay. And Miles Wood is going to be the Blake Coleman of this year. And get us a ridiculous haul because people are going to be like, but look at how good he is right now. Look at what he can do. Look at it. I love Miles Wood. I think he's awesome. But Toronto is suckers for players like that. And if you don't think so, go ask David Clarkson about that contract. But I feel like Miles Wood, I love him, but I wouldn't be shocked. He would fit in Boston. He would fit well in Toronto. He would fit well anywhere. He would fit well with us. He would fit well. If he stayed, I wouldn't be disappointed. I'd be like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Man, Oral Roberts beating everybody.
I'm in the same as Beer Baron. I was thinking the same thing. Pavel Zacha would stay, and you could see Miles Wood being this year's Blake Coleman because someone's going to need it, and especially if you look at the Blake Coleman made an impact for Tampa in the playoffs last year and did help them win that Stanley Cup. And you mentioned Toronto. Maybe he's that player that can get Toronto past that first round, like since they always stumble in that first round. The thing, though, I still think trading across from the U.S. to Canada or vice versa from Canada to the U.S., I don't know how much of that we're going to see, only because of the quarantine issues, the traveling between countries. I could be wrong in this, and there could be a boatload of trades between U.S. and Canadian teams in the next 3 days. But it's got to be soon because we're burning, we have a month. We have a month and a week and a half, month and 2 weeks, month and a half left. Anyone that goes north of the border or comes south of the border is going to need those 2 weeks to quarantine and then 2 weeks to get used to your team. So you're going to need a month. So as much as
and that's crazy
do
because
well in Toronto,
you don't know. I don't think there's going to be a lot of. Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of like inter division trading with those Canadian teams. I could see it happening more in our division than I could see it happening in those. Even though like once that division's broken up,
I'll just keep calling up Ottawa.
yeah. Like, one of those Kachuk brothers that we could have. Yeah, we're not Toronto.
You know what?
Oh my God!
So I could see this unless the NHL gives assurances that that division will not exist next year. Because we were talking about Hockey Untapped. That's there is the potential for that division to if there is the divisional realignment to that potentially be one division permanently. If that division is definitely not going to be around next year, I can see some of those bottom teams in the Canadian division trading to some of the other teams, especially if it's like I don't know. So let me before you go pontificating about a bunch of stuff, let me just look at the stats for that Canadian division because I've kind of got to.
But that's a great point.
You guys talk, and then I'll come back.
That's what I was going to say is right now they're all in the same division, but next year and the years beyond they might not be. So you have a lot of teams that are from the East and from the West. So you look at the teams that are in that division. You have.
All right, so here's an example. Right now, Vancouver is 2 points behind Montreal. Ottawa is obviously bottom of the barrel. I could potentially see a trade between Ottawa and Vancouver so that Vancouver can screw Montreal. So in a sense, it would be a way for the Senators to screw Montreal, knock them out of the playoffs by making a trade with Vancouver. I could see trades like that happening. But if that division, especially a lot of it's going to come down to what that division is going to look like, if anything, next year. Because if they're going to be a division like that going forward, let's just say hypotheticals, I could not see another inter-Canadian trade potentially ever again. It would be like us becoming, I could see us actively making a trade with the Rangers before any of those teams would actually be friendly to each other, which, for the record, I love those types of rivalries to where these teams just do not want to work together in one bit to help another team get better.
That's right. I feel 100% the same way. Those old school rival, sports are so oh man, we hate each other, and then you're like, no, you don't. You guys were shaking hands and going out for beers afterwards, which is fine. I'm not gonna say don't do that.
No, that's not fun.
I miss the days of even the fans. You used to just hate each other with just such vitriol. You just be like, I hate you so much. I don't even know who you are. You'd be the nicest human being in the world, and I still hate you. No, I still do. I still do. But it just doesn't have the same feeling as it used to be.
All right.
Let's get back to trade talk here. Okay, let's go bring it back into trade talk here. Okay, so Miles Wood, we're saying it's okay if we were offered a big deal, we would take it. But Pavel Zacha, we're saying no. Okay. How about?
Should we amend the rules? Should we amend the rules? Should we real quick amend the rules to this? We stick to our opinion and move on to the next player.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well,
all right.
Can do
let's
that.
Do that. Okay. All right. So you said Jesper Bratt?
Well, yeah. Well, he's kind of the last one. I don't know how many other people we would be, people are going to be calling us on. I don't think people are going to be calling for Sharangovich and Quoke. I don't think they're for sale.
They could be calling about Murray. They could be calling about Murray.
All right, good. Okay.
Both of them are.
All right, so Jesper
Bratt, stay.
Jesper Bratt, you're saying stay.
Easily
okay.
stay. Easily.
All right, I'm going to say he should go. If there's a deal there for him that much like a Coleman deal, I would take it. Absolutely.
You would have to give me more than what you got
for
Coleman. You have to.
Yeah.
We might be saying that with our heads our hearts instead of our heads, but listen, Jesper Bratt is twice the player that Blake Coleman is. And if you plug him into the you could disagree with that one, but
I think he's got
Jesper Bratt is a better long-term player than a Blake Coleman. I think Blake Coleman is one of those players, kind of like a David Clarkson, not to insult Blake Coleman, but has a very short shelf life, and may not be a longer-lasting player like Jesper Bratt, I believe, can be.
Okay. I'm just looking at Okay, so he's been what? He's been in the league. This is his fourth year. Okay, yeah. So he's got 13 goals, 8 goals, 16 goals, 2 goals.
Scotty, season though, correct?
So, I don't know. If someone came and I don't know, I feel like me and Sam talk about this with Gusev, Hughes, and Bratt. I feel like it's too many of the same type of player. Go ahead, Sam.
I think Gusev's Gusev is.
Oh, he's not.
He's the odd man out.
He's cooked.
He'll be the odd man out.
His goose is cooked.
Watch the canopy on the way out.
Go ahead, Sam.
In my opinion, I'd say trade them all away. Trade them all away.
Trade them all.
I'm not married to any player on the team.
You're right. You're married to Melanie.
Yes.
And she said, "Sell them all. Sell them all."
Yes.
All right.
Which
I got
actually,
one for you, Scotty.
Go for it.
Go ahead, Sam.
No, I was just gonna say tomorrow.
He sounded so disappointed there.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sam.
Sam. Good, get out of here. All right, here you go. Mackenzie Blackwood. Mackenzie Blackwood. Think about, and before you say anything, and I'm not saying like, look at what Wedgwood's been doing. No. You look at some of the goaltenders that we have in the system. What was the kid that we drafted this year who has boatloads of potential too? So there's
Nicholas Dawes, the kid over in Germany, right?
Yes.
Or Nico
so that
Dawes.
kid has
Nico too.
Nico
Nicholas Dawes,
whatever he is, Dawes.
Yeah,
he could be Carl Dawes for all we care right now. But he has supposedly boatloads of potential too. So is Mackenzie Blackwood a potential piece? I'm not saying I want to. I'm just throwing that name out there because I want to stir the pot.
I would. Yes, I would. If it's the right. Yes. If that's the case, if it's like. I just because I feel like we can also then like pull another trade for a different goaltender as well. Maybe like someone who's more established or up and coming. I don't know. I just feel goaltenders.
Carter Hart needs a new scene, change of scenery.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. But I mean, it would have to be. Like I said,
they're going to let him go.
If it was the right deal, yes, I would. I would pull that. I would pull that trigger.
See now,
if it's the right deal, yeah.
But because I don't know, there really aren't many available serviceable goaltenders that are established that are out there and available that we could bring in. Scott Wedgwood's doing good, but we've seen way too often in the last bunch of years where we've had these flash in the pan goaltenders. Keith Kincaid was one. Scott Clemenson was another. They did very well, and we're like, yeah, and then all of a sudden they petered out.
Just thinking of Keith Kincaid with like a tear running down his eye after you said that.
But you know what, like,
but my emojis,
well, I mean,
my
one,
emojis.
he's a Ranger. One, he's a Ranger now, so it's virtually dead to all of us.
Right. You're dead to me.
Like you look at what he did when he left. He was never able to establish himself as that starter. We've had a lot of, with the exception of aside from Corey Schneider, we've had just a bevy of backup goaltenders that showed promise for starting positions and just couldn't hold it. So let's say we were to trade Blackwood. I don't think that there's anyone that we could bring in that was potentially be able to fill that starting role effectively for a while. Just with who's available out there, which there really isn't much. If we did let him go and we were able to bring in someone like a Marc-Andre Fleury, I would absolutely love it. Now, I know he's older, but since his move away from Pittsburgh, I have absolutely loved Fleury. If he were to come here, I would think that would be phenomenal, and he's proven he can still play. But I don't, because there's no replacement available for Blackwood. Because there's not only. I mean, I'm sure we can come up with some kind of fantasy deal. In order to get someone in here, but because there's no ready replacement that would be available, that's realistic. There's no way I would let Blackwood go because he's not playing great right now. I mean, he got the win today, and he's had some injury issues this year and some COVID issues, so he's missed more than he's really played. But I would not let him go, not right now.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
All right.
I had to throw it out there because it was once you start throwing names like Bratt, because I'm like I figured Bratt being a part of the core of the team, and
well, we said Zaka would. I tried to make it difficult.
Yeah,
I don't want to toss you softballs there. Jeez, come on.
Well, yeah. Well,
now that's how we got everybody on Facebook complaining about us and everything. That's how we do it. See?
Oh, they're going to complain about us anyway.
You guys got it all wrong. You mispronounced my name again.
That's the whole point for everyone to disagree and to talk And to discuss, share ideas.
See what we did for you.
Come up with.
You see what we did.
Wow. What do you know? What do you know?
Obviously nothing.
I don't know. I wasn't convinced on Zaka at the beginning of the year, but now I feel like he is a part of our future there.
Yeah, and I know Sam has brought it up before, so I'm stealing his idea, but Zaka under Josh or under Hines, and then Zaka now is like two different players. You're seeing just what we all wanted to see. All those years, it just wasn't there, and then now we got it. Oh man,
benched for stupid stuff. What?
Oh, our friend Michael in the Facebook group, McLeod can go.
You better watch your mouth.
I'm gonna like that.
So he should go.
I'm gonna like that comment.
He should go, huh? That's what he said.
What are you gonna get back? You're gonna get back 6 number ones, and what you trade them to Edmonton for Connor McDavid? There you go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Straight up.
You realize I'm not that stupid, right? That'd be funny. It's 1 for 1, and everybody's like, "Who did we get?" And they're like, "Connor McDavid." And they're like, "Oh my god, for who?" And Micah McLeod.
Too funny.
Is Chiarelli still the GM up there? No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh man, even Ramona
Sam.
was asking, "What about McLeod?"
Yeah, if he goes, he goes. That's it, dude. I'm not like, listen. All joking aside, like, if you can get something decent for somebody, like Scotty said, if you can get something decent for somebody, then you do it. If it's going to better the team, then you do it. At this point, we have a lot of young chips that we need to start to see what they have. And I mean, like, you hate to say it, but you're going to let the wood die out in the pile, or you're going to bring it in, throw it in the fire, and see what it does. How dare you bring this music into my life right now? You bring up these slanderous words of getting rid of Mikey McLeod. He is the hope. He is the future of this team. Most people talk about Jack Hughes. It's Mikey McLeod.
Sell them all. Sell them all.
Anyways, yeah, sell them all.
All right,
sell them
sell them
all.
all.
Give me the
Sam's
cash
back.
register.
Sell them all, Sam.
Give me the
What do you
cash
got?
register, Sam. There it is.
Mikey McLeod, Kyle Palmieri, Nikita Gusev. Waive your no trade clause.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, no trade clause is going to turn himself into a wave clause.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess we're reaching the end here. Ready to wrap up. I see Sam Wu is here. He started the music. That means we have to stop. So, anyone got any final thoughts before we head on out of here? Before Beer Baron passes out?
Oh my God, I'm so tired.
I'll go. My final thought. I am beyond happy that we got 3 wins out of 4. I was not expecting that. I was real down after last Sunday. I was not expecting to get the wins we got this week, so I'm happy.
My final thought would be along the same kind of avenue of just keep on bringing those trade values up. Even if you can't win, improvement is improvement is improvement. And that's what we want to see out of this team. We want to see the young kids grow, shooting the puck and scoring them goals. And if we lose, we lose. But hey, at least we see improvement.
And no hitting that pipe. Don't want to be hitting that pipe.
Oh, yeah.
No hitting that pipe, Joe Rogan.
3 times today.
No hitting that pipe.
Yeah, just keep progressing. Keep playing good hockey, guys. Just keep playing good hockey. That's what we want. Even if
I
you
got
lose,
something to say.
it's cool.
I got something to say.
Go for it.
I think Scotty needs one of our uniforms since Beer Baron.
Oh, yeah, the 3 of us. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's going to have to do the Bill Belichick. He's going to do the Bill Belichick and cut the sleeves off because it's like 98 degrees out there already.
Yeah, because they don't need hoodies out in California.
Oh, we do. We're all wusses now. It goes below 70. Forget it. We're like wrapping up like it's freezing out here. You know.
Don't worry.
I'm surprised you're not walking around.
We've got new items showing up shortly, Sam. Don't worry. We got new items showing up shortly.
Yeah, very shortly with long sleeves. But one honest thought. Shorts guy, you said, you were bummed last Sunday. But remember, the games that they lost last weekend, I believe, involved a PK Subban game-winning goal that was called back off of an inconclusive replay. BS like that. So I think the Devils are on a nice, positive run right now. And let's just hopefully it becomes a 6-game winning streak. That's all. If they if they run the table on the road, since they're great on the road, and they're playing great,
6-game winning streak. Oh my God!
Hey, you know what? That's my
4
final thought.
against the Capitals. You think you're getting a 6-game winning streak when 4 of them are against the Capitals? Are you kidding me? Playoffs.
I'll tell you what. We'll find out next week. Find out next week. Well, thank you for everybody watching. Dropping the podcast at midnight. I'll see you on the Woo Report tomorrow. And Scotty, post-game, Tuesday night.
Post-game.
I'll be down
Tuesday.
I'll be down in Philly in enemy territory.
That's right.
I'm good for Tuesday, Sam.
All right.
All right.
Great.
I'll join.
All right. Beer Baron?
And,
We'll put a maybe on that one. We'll put a pin on that one.
We'll pencil you in.
That?
It all depends if the Devils win. It all depends if the Devils
lose.
win.
I don't want to deal with your stupid faces and sit here talking about it.
All righty.
All right.
Till next time, let's go Devils.